Why scaling your photography business might be the worst business decision you ever make. I know in the world today, like in the photography community, everybody's saying, scale, you need to bring more people, you need to build team, you need to do this, you need to do that. I won't even people say that for you to actually make profit, you need to actually build and scale your photography business. It sounds like a lofty idea. In fact, people make it look like a lofty idea. They make it look like if you're not scaling, you're missing out. If you have not scaled your photography business, you are not a serious photographer. If you have not built a team around what you do and scale it, you're not going to be prosperous. You're not going to be profitable as a photographer. But what if I told you that might actually be the worst decision you'll ever make? You guys don't understand what's going on. So in as much as that sounds good, it sounds great, it makes you feel like you're ambitious, it makes you feel like you're somebody that is out to conquer the world, you're out to do great stuff. It gives you that feel-good feeling like, oh, I am an entrepreneur now and I have to scale, I have to do this, I have to do that, so I look the part. But let me tell you something people don't tell you, especially the people who have really scaled in this business. There are some things that they have left out in those conversations. Because most of the time you're not in their financial books. You do not necessarily know how this really goes when it comes to numbers. So in this video, if you're thinking about scaling your photography business, if you're thinking about building that team, you're thinking that your profitability in your business is tied to your ability to scale, I'm going to share with you a couple of reasons why you should rethink that, why you should really rethink whether this is the right option for you at this point, whether this is the right thing for you to do for your type of business, whether this is the right thing for you to do for the quality of clients that you want to attract. So yeah, it's going to be a long video. Take your pen, take your biro, write things down. Scaling is not for everyone. Get it very straight. Scaling is not for everyone. In fact, when you scale, you might have well destroyed the very thing that makes you special, that makes you stand out, what we call the unique selling proposition, USP. That's what people call it. Sometimes your eagerness to scale would actually rub off on the main thing that makes you special, that makes people want to hire you, that makes people want to be a part of what you do. So if I want to start from like the very top and say, okay, let's start the very first thing. The very first thing that scaling might do to you is that scaling can dilute your unique selling point. You need to understand that clients are not just hiring you for pictures. If it's pictures, people make pictures. So these people are not just hiring you for pictures. They are hiring you because they feel a connection to the person you are, because what your brand is an extension of who you are, an extension of your personality, an extension of your value system, an extension of your whole being. So there are people who connect to that on that level. There are people who come to you because it's you. There are people who hire you because it's you, because it is you that would show up and do the work. It is you that they will communicate with. It is you that they will talk to if things go wrong. It is you that they expect for you to show up when they actually do the bookings. So when you do the scaling part, what that does is that it dilutes that connection. It dilutes the fact that someone is looking up to you to show up. I know you would say their systems, their SOPs, their frameworks that you want to put in place in such a way that the whole team would actually do the things that you want them to do. But I want you to understand that you cannot democratize the idea of personality. No two person in your company can actually become you. Because how you would treat people, how you would react to people. Let me use the word people use these days. People's energy are different. So when people align to you, they align to you for several reasons, including the energy that you pull off. You cannot put that in a structure. You cannot put that in an SOP. You cannot put that in the way that you want other people in the company to work. So when you actually think, you know what, let me make sure that a lot more people come and do this so that we can do more of that thing so that we can make money. You need to really understand that that would scale down, that would dilute the thing that makes you special. Think about it. A client always call you like, hey, what's up now? How you doing? Are you fine? I always like how you treat me during my shoot, how you are patient, how you direct, how you not make my ideas to feel like they are stupid and all of those kind of things. And look at now, you've now added people to the team, and now you're sending those people to your clients. And no matter how you think you've trained people, their temperament cannot be trained. There are things that you cannot train people with, things like character. Do you understand? You cannot treat people how to treat people well. If those people are not people that always treat people right, they will not treat your clients right. Their temperament would be off. The connection will not be there. And by the time you're thinking about the technicality of the photographs, which is they make great photographs, they can light, they can retouch, the pictures are looking great. Why is the client complaining? These people connect to the business on an emotional level, not necessarily a logical level, which the technical skill of photography falls under. So when you ability to say, let me scale, what do you mean by scaling? You say, okay, I used to photograph 10 people in a month, but I used to have inquiry like 20. So what if I hire 2 more people? That way I can do double what I do for myself by hiring these 2 people. But what you forget is that you cannot really scale some experiences that are really woven into your brand. No matter how good the SOPs are. SOPs means standard operating procedures, right? Where you say, this is how we do what we do, this is why we do what we do, and this is how you're going to do what we do. But you need to understand that there are things that are beyond those things. So when you're thinking about scaling, think about the current clients that I'm having at the moment. What do they connect to the most? Is it the technicality of the work, or is it the emotional connection with what I create, how I create it, and the way I make them feel during the sessions? Because if you do not do that, what will happen at the end of the day is that your team, your business that you have scaled will actually create greater images, but will not build the connection that build trust, that actually make people to refer you to other people. It is not the technicality of what we do that stands alone to make people recommend us. It is actually the connection, the trust, which is an emotional thing. It's not tangible. You can't touch it. But those are the most important things when it comes to you getting new business or getting into a circle of influence of your current clientele. That's the most important part. It's most important than you scaling. Which now brings me to the second point, which is quality control. You know, you have a way of doing things. Let me say, for example, you've hired someone before to help you be a retoucher, but at the end of the day, you still go back to do the work that you've hired the person to do. You've been there, right? So you have people hire photographers into their team, build a team, but whenever it's time to photograph a certain caliber of client, they go and do it there by themselves. When it's time to edit work, they still cross-check whether the picture still fits into what the brand pushes out. So right now, you're paying more attention, you're doing more work in quality control than in building the business, which is actually the essence of you scaling. So when you actually hire somebody, they cannot photograph like you. They cannot retouch like you. They are not putting like things like deadlines. So they have gotten a client, they are photographed, but they are not following up. They are not communicating with the client when the work would come. They are not proactive when there are delays to actually reach out to the client. There are a lot of things that now are not under your control. So when you scale, you lose a certain level of control. And in the things we do, it is those controls that actually lead up for us to make the kind of money that we make. Knowing that the pictures would come out the way it should come out. Knowing that the experience when we photograph would be the same. Knowing that the picture quality would be the same. Knowing that the retouching expertise will be the same. Not that you hire a retoucher or build that team that you really want, you pay them salary, but when it comes to doing the right work, you still go back and do the work that you've hired people already for. Do you understand? It doesn't work that way. So you're spending more money hiring a team that actually cannot do the work to meet your standards. Make it make sense. Does it make sense to you? So I've had a friend, it was a wedding photographer before he moved out of Nigeria. He used to have, because he was having a lot of weddings, so he built a team and all of those kind of things. I remember one time he told me like, yo, Mayo, it's so like the retoucher sent him the images that they have done for work, and he was like, what is this? Like, he was so worked up, and he stayed back 2 nights to actually do the retouch again on those images. Do you understand? Like something that he pays somebody for, but the person cannot deliver the kind of quality that is demanded of his brand. So now he has to sit back and do the retouching by himself. I can't even talk about the people that design the photo albums. He has to even sit down, design the photo album by himself. So what is the essence of you now saying, let me add more people to the team? What is the essence of scaling? When at the end of the day, they will not meet your standards when it comes to the quality of the work, when it comes to the quality of the service, when it comes to customer care, when it comes to customer relationship, when it comes to feedback. They are falling behind because there's so much you can tell a human being to do, but there's so much a human being can do at a certain point in time. Sometimes it might be because of their temperament, sometimes it might be because of their expertise, because most of the time people hire people that are lower skilled. Most people in this photography business do not hire the high-end retouchers who can actually do the work, because they are thinking about, if I pay this person this amount of money, how much will now be left for me? Do you now see the issues? So they go back, they hire people that cannot necessarily deliver a quality of retouch, a quality of images on a certain level, only for them to go back and do that person's work when the person falls behind. So they don't have enough money to hire the top end that will actually help them build the business for it to become better. So at that point, quality becomes the issue. Excellence becomes the issue. It becomes like a uphill task. You are trying to maintain a certain excellence for your brand, but the people that you've hired, because you don't want to hire the top end people, cannot deliver, so you end up doing the work because you do not want to spend more money. You see, why did you now scale in the first place? Which brings me to the third point, which is scaling oftentimes takes away your profitability. Remember the second point where I said you hire retouchers or photographers that are not really up there because you want to save money. That way you don't spend a lot of money, that you can have profit left for you in the business. But if you want to hire people that can maintain the certain level of excellence in the brand, it means that you would pay more. And paying them more would rob you of the profitability in the business. We are not here for making photographs and looking good and saying, yo, I'm a photographer. If you are that kind of person, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to people who are here to make profit. Use the profit to better their lives of their family members, and better the lives of the society at large. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't hire people. I'm not saying, because when you hire and build a team and all of that, you are also helping people make money. But I'm saying at the end of the day, you need to think about it as a business person. Think about this part. Once you hire a team, it means you have to buy more equipment. It means you have to pay for subscriptions. It means you have to pay for a lot of things. Now you cannot use a certain small spot again. That means you have to hire or rent out a bigger space. That costs more money. Running the office costs more money. Buying and maintaining equipment costs a lot more money. So your overhead is way higher than your revenue. Soon enough, you are now taking money out of your own pocket to now pay the people that you've hired for them to do the work. Now, where is the business smartness in all of that? How do you think that your overhead is more than the revenue that you make, and you think that that business is going to survive? It's not going to survive. The cost implication of scaling is what most people don't talk about. People talk about, oh, we do 10 weddings in a weekend, so my team are everywhere. It's good, fine. But the point is, none of those people are showing you the books. Because it is more than you just saying, okay, I have 10 weddings this weekend, my team are going to do all of this. When you think about the cost of producing and delivering 10 weddings if you have 10 weddings, that means you have 10 teams, members, like 10 teams, and you have, in those teams, you might have like 3 people each. That's like 30 people you need to take care of. How much was the wedding package that you would be able to pay 30 people per weekend and you still make profit? That is the part people do not talk about. So you people would get photographer, like in the wedding space, they will have 2 photographers, they will have a light assistant, they will have a normal assistant, they will have a retoucher, they have somebody that actually does the photo book design and all of those kind of things. So these people collect salary at the end of the month, right? But what happens is that you would say, I am raising this amount of revenue. Fine, it's good. But I need to make you understand that revenue is not the same thing as profit. You might as well make 100 million in revenue. But if you are not making money when you spend everything, the cost. So think about it this way. There is revenue and there's profit. How do you know that you're making profit? Is when you take out the total cost of the team and you delivering the work from the revenue you've generated. How much is left is your profit. So it is not about saying, I did 10 weddings. The real question you should be asking is how much was left after all of this was executed. Do not allow the feel-good factor of saying, I have a team, we are doing these numbers. Look at the numbers that really matter. Cost. Look at the number that really matters. Expenditure. The money that you're taking out from that money to execute and deliver that job. Those are the numbers that matter. I'm not saying that revenue does not matter. Revenue matters. But you need to understand that what matters most, especially if you want to be a profitable business, is your ability to make money at the end of the day. And building a team is one way that you might not make a lot of money, especially if you want to hire the right set of people. Which now gets me to the last part, which is you might lose the joy and the reason you ever did it in the first place. You know, when you're now not the person photographing. You're now the operator. You're chasing. Have you done this? Have you done that? Have you done this? Oh, that picture is not good enough. Someone should retouch it again. Well, who is talking to this client? The client is calling you. Your people are not here. You now become the operator instead of being the person that running it and controlling the number of events that you have. You now become a manager. Once you become a manager and an operator in the business, the real joy of why you started it, the creative juice in you is being dried up. That creative well will be dried up. And once that creative well dries up, you lose the joy of what it was, why you even started it in the first place. You see people say, I wish I never even hired more people. I wish I was just staying the level and the unit I was, maybe increasing the value that I was offering so that I can charge more and have a smaller unit where we can deliver and keep more profit. Because managing people is hard. Bro, managing people is difficult. You might have a good day, but the person you're talking to is not having a good day. You might tell them, do this, and they go ahead and listen. You said something here, they were listening to you, but they go ahead and do something way, way different. You might tell them, always communicate with the client when something is not going right, and they go ahead and do something else entirely. You might tell them, do not respond to the client this way. This is our SOPs. This is how we respond to clients. This is how we respond to our email. When they want to send the email, they do something different. You cannot necessarily control people. Let me not even talk about the ones that will steal from you, because they will go ahead, corner your clients, get your client's number, sell your clients, move your clients to wherever they want, do it for cheaper, use your equipment, use your studio, photograph their clients, put the money in their pocket, and you the one paying the rent, buying the equipment, buying the editing softwares. You are not making anything in between. Enough said. So what I'm trying to tell you is that for you to say, I am ready to scale, you need to fit into a particular point. You need to know that, what kind of photography business am I running? Is it the one that if I scale, my clients will still be there? Or is it the one that the people really enjoy the connection that I give as a business person? That way, I would be able to hold on to the ones that I have, get into their circle of influence, get more people from their circle of influence through referrals to actually hire me to do more work. So that way you do few work, you make more money, you have more time to rest. That's how to be a creative person that is making money. Not everything is about your ability to scale. So I want you to know that you need to be intentional about staying small. You need to be intentional about maintaining quality. You need to be intentional about maintaining excellence. You need to be intentional, most especially, about staying profitable. That's the goal in this business, for us to make money and be profitable in what we do. I just hope that this video helps you. Thank you again for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Make sure that people like you watch this video. And before anybody now pushes you into saying, I want to build a team, always remember I said, is it about the goal and the beauty and the glamour of having a team? Or is it about making profit? Because if I were you, I'll pick profit over anything, any day, anytime. Have a great day, guys. God bless.